So good evening to you and welcome to News 360. It's coming to you live from the News Hub here at Adesawe Kanda. I'm Natalie Fort.
I'm Mr. Moni as well. Stay with us for the headlines tonight.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by Deluxe Paint, Heaven Black Mosquito Coil and Spray,
Premier Health Insurance.
Ghana to face dire social and environmental consequences should government go ahead to mine bauxite in the Etiwa Forest Reserve, environmental NGO Arocha wants.
Considering the market value of also the water services that Etiwa provides, are we going to get equal commensurate value for that particular water service?
Also ahead this evening, traders at Ashaman defy the Municipal Assembly's directive not to sell on the streets.
Also in the headline tonight, farmers urge to adopt agroecological farming to promote sustainable production and food security.
Ahead in business this evening, custom officers from neighboring countries to be allowed to inspect and monitor goods meant for their respective countries.
And on the foreign front, high voter turnout in Zimbabwe's first general election since long-serving ruler Robert Mugabe was ousted. We have all the details, including sports and entertainment, coming up this hour. Stay with us as we head into the main news. Traders along the Ashaman traffic light stretch continue to sell on the street despite directives by the Municipal Assembly to stop them following an accident which claimed one life and injuries to 6 others. The news team visited the area and filed the following report.
The task force has been constituted to ensure traders do not sell on the pavements and streets and, in turn, put their lives in danger. The 30-member task force is to conduct all-day patrols. However, some traders have defied the directive.
Yes, the traders, they are still working. Some of them, they said if they are selling the market, they don't buy for them. Or in case they want to stand in front of someone, then they will sack them. So this is the place that they can sell something.
This trader complains there is no alternative location for her to sell her food items.
Me free if you na me chill na me deba. Enti me nam street is what make us obi tobia. Me to me ganja say wondi me chinko market ni mansa na makoto.
I fried the donuts from home and brought them. When I am walking on the street and a customer approaches me, I cannot tell them to follow me into the market or say because we are on the road they cannot buy. I would have to sell to them and make my daily bread. Public Relations Officer of the Ashaman Municipal Assembly, Kwesi Edujemfi, noted the task force will operate from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. He warned traders who are not from Ashaman to adhere to the directive or leave the municipality.
All those people who are they are not from Ashaman. About 80% from Accra and other areas to come and sell here and create nuisance for us. So we are to them that if they can't comply to assembly laws, they should go back to where they come from because they also have a market in other places. From tomorrow, anybody who will be arrested will also be prosecuted.
In some other news this evening, environmental NGO Arocha Ghana has warned of dire social and environmental consequences should government go ahead to mine bauxite in the Etiwa Forest Reserve. Deputy Director Daryl Bosu says it does not make economic sense for government to mine the low-grade bauxite in the Etiwa Forest compared to deposits in other parts of the country.
The 17,400 hectares of Etiwa Forest Reserve in the eastern region has at least 960 million metric tons of bauxite deposits and water resource for some 5 million Ghanaians. The new financing model for Ghana in undertaking future projects, with which Sino Hydro Group Limited of China is to provide $2 billion of infrastructure in exchange for Ghana's refined bauxite in the Etiwa Forest Reserve. Deputy Director of Environmental NGO Arusha, Ghana, Darrell Bosu, explained the Etiwa forest has the potential of raking in funds for government without having to mine its bauxite.
The major bauxite deposit in this country you find in
loan facility from China, including its environmental impact assessment.
Why they want to embark on this particular structure of finance, and what is the the cost benefit analysis for us as a people? What is going to be the effect on the environment after this whole particular negotiation has been done and finished? This whole thing also boils down to posterity. What would the future say about this particular transaction?
Darrell Bosu insisted its negative environmental impact will be worse than the economic benefits.
The market value of also the water services that Atiwa provides, are we going to get equal commensurate value for that particular water service? Yes, we need bauxite for development. The economics of it looks good, but do we have to sacrifice everything we have to get that? We can have our 1 billion bauxite, trade that, get all the money we have, and sustainably manage this particular forest so we can ensure water sustainability. Considering the market value of also the water services that Atiwa provides, are we going to get equal commensurate value for that particular water service?
Parliament has passed the Master Project Support Agreement for the $2 billion facility for the construction of priority projects by Chinese firm Sino Hydro Group Limited. The facility would be in exchange for alumina processed from bauxite deposits in the country.
And now pressure is mounting on the General Legal Council to conduct an inquiry into how the compulsory question in last Friday's entrance exams to the Ghana School of Law professional training course leaked. Some students confessed receiving questions ahead of the paper and meeting same during the exam proper. The leakage comes in the midst of allegations against the General Legal Council for alleged ineptitude in the administration of legal education. Some students who did not receive the questions that circulated on social media have called for the cancellation of the paper, saying fairness has been compromised. Now, US-based lawyer Professor Kweku Asari and director of the Mount Crest University College, Ansa Asari, have both called for the cancellation of the results and the scrapping of the General Legal Council. Let's go on to the phone lines now and speak with Ansa Asari. Hello, good evening, sir, and thanks for joining us on News 360.
Good evening, thank you too.
Right, you must be surprised that at a time when pressure is mounted on the GLC to organize leakage-proof exams, there has been another scandal.
Yes.
So what are you saying about this latest scandal?
Good evening to your listeners, and thanks once again. What I'd like to tell listeners is that this is something that the whole nation, must get involved in the conversation. It's a huge embarrassment and very shameful that the next generation of lawyers, the next generation of judges are being corrupted even before they enter the law school. I'm surprised that between Friday and as we speak, the General Legal Council, having deemed it desirable, to cancel the paper, they are waiting for pressure to be mounted on them before they do what is needful. I think that if you consider the fact that the compulsory question was about corruption, and students had to adopt corrupt practices in order to get the question, the answer, and the marking scheme. And it doesn't break anybody's conscience that this is something that shouldn't have happened. And if it has happened, the students should not be made to profit from this wrongdoing. They are waiting, for people to call them names before they do, what any person who thinks, that corruption should be, should be eradicated. I know, we cannot eradicate corruption, but it shouldn't, what has happened shouldn't be encouraged. I once again call on the Chief Justice, in the interest of fair play, in the interest of the future of the administration of justice, and realizing that we are toying with the lives of the next generation of members of the legal profession, to take the bold step of cancelling the paper, because one of the cardinal principles of legal education when we teach our students is that no one should be made to profit from his own or her own wrongdoing. This is one such instance. And I'm surprised.
Yeah.
It's very ironical, that this thing, you write about corruption, you corrupt the past in order to answer the question on corruption. Well, I mean, this is a big joke. The whole thing has become a farce. It's a big joke. And I'm surprised, that the Ghana Bar Association hasn't, made any comment whatsoever. The Ghana Bar Association, they own the legal profession. The Attorney General hasn't said anything. What reminds me is that we are not speaking because quite a number of us, ministers, lawyers, this is the same route we took. I mean, if we hadn't indulged in such a thing, we'll be speaking against it. We are not speaking against it because as a nation, we have endured the pathway of corrupting, ourselves when we want. You take your child to a nursery school, you must buy questions. You kindergarten, you buy questions. JHS, you buy questions. SHS, even amongst members of the legal profession, and nobody wants to speak against it. Some of us will speak against this thing. It's shameful.
All right, so Mr. Ansah, whilst we wait for the General Legal Council to take action, what should concerned students do? I mean, students who took part in the exams and did not get part of this leaked paper.
Students are beneficiaries of the spoil system, and therefore students, like Kwesari said yesterday, we shouldn't blame the students. But even though I will not blame the students must be told that if they love this nation, they must speak against it. They should not, sit down in silence and expect that the General Legal Council, will do what is right. We all know that what has happened is a national shame, and yet people are not speaking against it. Why? Because their children have benefited, from what happened last Friday. We must all roundly condemn it.
All right. Thank you very much. Yes, all right.
Everyone must get involved in the conversation. If the General Legal Council is not doing what is right, we as a nation, if we are patriotic and we love our nation, we must speak against it. We should not wait till judges doctor their judgment before we realize that the cornerstone of the administration of justice is under siege. We should not wait for lawyers to be called all sorts of names before we come to a conclusion that what happened last night. How do you enter an exam?
That's a good question there, and we may have to leave it here, Mr. Ansah. We thank you very much for your time. Mr. Ansah is the former director of the Ghana School of Law. We'll find some more time and speak to him on this issue as the story is just breaking out.
Certainly, Issa. But from legal issues, let's turn to the health sector, as medical officers in government health facilities have expressed grave concern over the disparity in conditions of service. Top on their grievance list are reduced pension benefits following their migration onto the single spine pay policy and unpaid conversion difference since December 2011. Another contentious issue is their uncovered medical expenses, although they are part of the essential service providers. Here's a report by Eva Tiboka.
Doctors in government and quasi facilities render essential services.
Being a doctor is the most noble profession in the world, and it's the most difficult. At certain points, you will have to take very difficult decisions just to make sure that the person gains some amount of rehabilitative access to society, so that he doesn't become dependent on family members, on friends, on other people in society.
However, the differences in salary structure and service benefits have long generated controversy, resulting in government doctors sending a stern warning to withdraw their services. The country's doctors have been craving for the implementation of better conditions of service, following a document signed in October 2015. Top on the grievance list, they say, is the reduced pension benefits following their migration onto the single spine pay policy, with a conversion difference unpaid since December 2011. Per TV3's investigations, a medical officer in a government facility takes home a little over 4,000 Ghana cedis, while their counterparts in state institutions take home close to 8,000 cedis, a salary equivalent to that of a director. Again, a specialist at a government hospital takes home below 8,000 cedis, while their counterparts in the state-owned institutions take over 10,000 cedis. Dr. Thomas Anaba is former medical director for the Greater Accra Regional Hospital.
Why should you get a different salary from another doctor working in another government institution with at the same category? Some doctors in state-owned institutions who are specialists are considered directors for those institutions. They get allowances as directors. They get car, fuel free of charge because they are directors. Meanwhile, a doctor in government hospital with the same qualification at the same level does not get all those conditions.
Dr. Emmanuel Adepa Adapo is a medical doctor and biomedical scientist and works at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital.
It's either a 12-hour or a 24-hour duty all the time. So from Monday to Sunday, a doctor has to be on duty to be able to save lives. So those who dedicate themselves to work faithfully in the government sector, I'm sure there's need for them to be, their conditions of service to be really looked at.
Medical expenses of government hospital doctors are not paid for.
We pay for our own medical expenses, every bit of it. Labs, we have to pay for it. Consultation, then maybe a friend doctor would look at you and then waiver the consultation. But basically, every other test, from X-ray, labs, we pay for them.
Unlike state institution doctors, accommodation for government doctors comes with outstanding 10% monthly deductions.
And on MTN Video Report today, our concerned citizen journalist highlights on the poor state of classroom block at Doninga in the Upper East region.
This is an abandoned classroom block located in Doninga, in Busa South District of Upper East Region. It was abandoned in 2007. We need support so that classes can go on. It is a concerned citizen of Doninga.
You can also send your video report via WhatsApp on 055-1433-044. You're watching News 360.
Certainly. Let's now take a look at how the weather will be faring this evening through till tomorrow morning.
You're on News 360, and we will return shortly with some business news. Stay with us.
You're still watching News 360. A very good evening to you, and thanks for staying with us right here. It's time for business with me, Nanikia Mensah Brampa, and starting with tonight's government intends to roll out the first post-duty rule at the country's ports to check smuggling. Now, under this rule, custom officers from neighboring countries will be allowed to inspect and monitor goods meant for their respective countries. And the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, made this known at a forum organized by the Ports Management Association of West and Central Africa in Accra.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, recounted innovations rolled out by government to promote efficiency and reduce corruption. Available figures indicate that 43% of goods are now cleared within 24 hours, while 70% of the containers are cleared in 3 days. So far, some $450 million has been earmarked for projects and other infrastructure to enhance port operations. The Vice President expressed concern on the spate of smuggling across the ports and directed the Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to within 5 months create a seamless platform to enhance revenue mobilization.
We must have a seamless, interoperable integration between the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority and Customs. Importers are very smart. Once they know that the two systems are not speaking to each other, they find a way to circumvent. Burkina, Mali, Niger customs authorities will have a presence in our ports. And so if you claim that you are shipping this container to Mali, you just go to the Mali desk and pay your duty. They will be in your system and you move on.
On improving the business environment, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia urged ECOWAS to implement laws on axle loading.
It has been reported that not all other ECOWAS member countries are complying with this policy. It undermines regional cooperation and creates an atmosphere of unfairness in transit trade on the various corridors in the sub-region.
Minister of Transport Kweku Foresiama spoke about plans to engage the private sector for a new port to be constructed.
As part of the government policy to encourage the private sector in the development of infrastructure, as stated earlier, the government is engaging the private sector to develop new ports in the country to support the existing port of Tema and Takoradi to meet the growing demand in the shipping and port industry.
The theme for the event was best practices in the management of ports lands.
Now, government is determined to secure about 285 million Ghana cedis from August to December 2018, following the approval of some revised taxes in the mid-year budget review by Parliament. Now, these revised tax measures by the Finance Ministry is expected to be implemented from August 1, 2018. The new tax regime comprises a VAT of 12.5% applied on the value-added cost only, a 2.5% levy on costs of the goods or service as the National Health Insurance levy component, and another straight 2.5% levy as the Ghana Education Trust Fund. This, when put together, makes the 17.5% VAT. But according to the financial analyst Jerry Afolabi, the computation and effect of the VAT will be different.
Assuming you're selling excise books, so you go pick it at a wholesale price of 10 cedis. In terms of what is going to government in taxes has changed. If you add these three, you're going to get 75 pesos. Even though the 17.5% in terms of the VAT has not changed. So in terms of computation, government is going to get 75 pesos on the same exercise book that government was getting 35 pesos on.
The review is also to ensure that government ends the year meeting its revised revenue target of 51 billion cedis. In the mid-year budget review presented by the Finance Minister, there are expectations of some tax reviews which will take effect or be implemented on August 1. Now, these include the restructured VAT, the vehicle tax, and the 35% tax charges on persons who earn above 10,000 Ghana cedis. Now, these revision or restructuring in the taxes are expected to deal with the revenue shortfalls within the economy. Here at the Central Business District, we're finding out how will these traders implement the revised taxes when they sell. Wholesale and retail traders here at the Central Business District are looking forward to the restructured VAT rate. Current prices of some wholesale products may be affected after the August 1 implementation of the new taxes. A bag of flour now sells between 130 and 140 cedis from the retail shop. 25 kilograms cooking oil is also going for a wholesale price of 135 cedis and retailed at 138 cedis. 10 kilograms imported margarine is also selling at a retail price of 75 cedis. According to the financial analyst Jerry Afolabi, prices would increase. For some who trade on commission basis, they will not risk losing customers should the rate cause these prices to increase.
If you happen to put everything on it for the customer will go to the other one who has not registered for VAT. So we'll wait. Some will add on and then share it with the customer. Some will even absorb everything. If it's a very big wholesaler and it's making huge margins.
Kwesiotu, a wholesale trader, says once suppliers increase prices, there will be no choice but to pass it on to the consumer.
Before they bring it, those things are added on it. So when it comes as it is, they recommend prices that we should sell. So when it's added on it, obviously, automatically we pass it on. I don't need to do any extra calculation on it.
Some economists have suggested the new VAT regime will have an adverse effect on income earners. Some business associations have been pushing for more time before the tax is implemented, even after Parliament's approval. The Finance Ministry expects the review of the tax regime to shore up revenue. So we see what to expect for August 1. But away from that, Fisheries Committee for the West Central Gulf of Guinea has launched the Improving Fisheries Governance in West Africa in Accra. The project, funded by the European Union, is expected to address the challenges of poor management of fish stock, illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing, and lack of coordination among regional institutions and national authorities.
Fish export is a significant economic activity to member states of the Fisheries Committee for the West Central Gulf of Guinea. Low-value pelagic species constitute 70% of the total catch, almost entirely consumed within the region, and have special relevance in food security. However, the sector is fraught with challenges, which include poor access and conditions at major fish markets in the region. The Secretary General of the FCWC, Seraphine Dedi, said the PESCAL project, among other things, will build the capacities of regional monitoring, control and surveillance authorities to deter illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing.
We are dealing to combat this illegal fishing, and within this PESCAL project, we have been given opportunity to strengthen the coordination among the 6 member countries of the committee, to improve the governance of the fisheries management toward the establishment of a regional vessel monitoring center.
Deputy Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture, Francis Atukujo, called for a regional approach to combat illegal fishing.
Fish is a migratory resource. So the fishes, they move around the West African region. And therefore, if we are going to develop policies, we need to develop that. Negotiating with EU, a stronger body that have developed strong policies, and we are going as Ghana, we already stand as disadvantaged. When we come together and we harmonize the policies, we take strong positions at international level. Everybody will respect us. As we are speaking now, people come into our waters and take our fishes away.
The Fisheries Committee for the West Central Gulf of Guinea, FCWC, is an intergovernmental body established in 2007 with its secretariat based in Tema, and has the aim of facilitating cooperation in fisheries management between member countries, namely Liberia, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo, Benin and Nigeria.
And 40 students have graduated after pursuing a 4-year course in business administration and global leadership at the Accra Business School. At the school's 5th congregation, legal practitioner Asa Nkrumah commended management of the school for offering courses aimed at equipping individuals with relevant skills needed to improve the economy.
With a well-laid-out mission to develop a breed of global business leaders who can create jobs, increase incomes, and reduce poverty in Africa, the Accra Business School has over the past decades churned out accomplished men and women from varied backgrounds. A few of them include the former Attorney General Ayikoe Otu, former Minister of Local Government Ofosu Ampofo, and Deputy Minister of Defence Major Derek Odro, retired. The school started as a graduate school of governance and leadership in October 2010 to provide learning opportunities to adult learners in a Christ-centered scholarly environment. The latter part of last year saw its name change to Accra Business School to reflect its innovative business education mandate. Legal practitioner Asa Nkrumah, in a keynote address, charged the graduates to challenge conventions and innovate better solutions to solving problems.
The mind must be allowed to think open-mindedly, recognize and assess assumptions, implications, consequences. To stay renewed, the mind must fully communicate or apply effectively or figure out solutions to complex problems. If you are not a solution to a problem, you are a waste of space.
Founder and President Bishop Gideon Titi Ofei explains the rationale behind the programs offered at the school.
We live in a globalized world, and we believe that the content of the programs in every academic institution must reflect the current reality. So what we have done for these graduates is that we have taught them how to be global citizens. You live in Ghana, but you are competing for employment with somebody who lives in New York. You must get the same quality education, the same skills to be able to compete globally.
Valedictorian of the year group Frank Lenos Glakwe, who was awarded with a 100% MBA scholarship, had this to say.
What actually helped us was the way the program was organized. There's so much flexibility in what is done here. The facilities here made it very possible for us to do what we have to do. And I'll say for the continuing students, what I will entreat them to do is to work so hard, because without hard work.
Well, so remember, you can get a full version of the restructured rate explanation in terms of the breakdown on 3news.com, as well as more business news. That will do for tonight. My name is Nanekia Mensah Brampa. Isa is standing by.
Thank you, Nana. Now there's more news on News 360 tonight, and let's focus on this one. Ghanaian farmers are being encouraged to shift from the conventional farming practices and adopt agro-ecological farming for sustainable production and food security. The Center for No-Till Agriculture says the method protects the soil, prevents depletion, and ensures food security. Here's a report by Ibrahim Abubakar.
As Ghana battles the effects of climate change and its threat to food security, farmers are being sensitized to adopt agroecological method of climate-smart agricultural activity. The indigenous farming method does not allow plowing of farmland and use of synthetic fertilizers. It sustains depleted soil, fights climate change, and provides chemical-free food. Executive Director of the Center for No-Till Agriculture, Dr. Kofi Boa, observed many of the agricultural programs implemented in Ghana over the years have achieved limited success, hence the need to re-strategize. According to him, agroecology and sustainable agriculture holds the future for agriculture and not fertilizer subsidy programs.
If you track it carefully, people are putting in so much and not getting the value. The land is losing its productivity because of the way we manage it. What you realize is that every farmer will want to have a land that has been in fallow for a long time to farm. Why you ask them, they say it's productive. The nutrients are there.
To strengthen awareness creation on agroecological farming, the Center for Indigenous Knowledge and Organizational Development is building the capacity of peasant farmers on agroecology at Amanchia in the Ashanti region. Executive Director of CIKOD, Bernard Guri, said the center's resolve to promote agroecology farming is to sustainably address food security issues.
Our traditional farmers have had a way in which they plant their own seeds, they use their own way of maintaining the soil, and they can farm this year, next year, and the other year. And so we think that we should go back because that's a more sustainable way of doing it.
A peasant farmer, Charles Nyaba, said it is time government rethinks its approach to the agriculture sector and focus on empowering farmers.
They should rather empower farmers so that we use these healthy farming practices. The benefits of the type of farming, that's the agroecology, it's clear for everybody to see. It doesn't have environmental destruction. The food we eat is very healthy. Is cost-effective.
Agroecology, according to the CIKOD, has the potential to improve yield quality, ensure higher yields, and ensure food safety. It will also contribute to environmental sustainability and preserve the biodiversity for future generation. The center expressed the urgent need for all farmer groups to come together to encourage the practice as well as communicate their challenges to the authorities in one voice.
You're watching News 360. We've got the latest sports news coming up shortly with Thierry Nan. Stay with us.
Ghana International, ACN is convinced Thomas Partey is the man to lead the Black Stars forward. ACN has told TV3 Sports he is no longer available for national team selection and reckons the Atletico Madrid man can lead a talented group of Ghana youngsters back to the top.
I had my time. I served my country really well. So I mean, it's time for the others to take over. And as you said, I mean, we were all disappointed we couldn't get to the World Cup. But it's one of those things, and I think these young boys, you know, they always want to do well for the country. So hopefully things will change. And I don't really look into what was happening with the FA. But, you know, more important, the players are very important. So I mean, the nation should support the players, and hopefully Ghana will come back to the top. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know half of the players. But I've seen a few games, and I think I really admire Partey. I mean, he's such a great footballer, and I think he will be the one to lead the Blaster back to the top. I mean, and with the other boys as well. So, with the support from the other boys. Yeah.
Okay, so that is it for a man who played 58 times for the Black Stars and, of course, scoring 9 goals in the process, some of them very, very crucial. But let's move away from him. Let's go straight to the Confederation of African Football, whose president, Dr. Ahmad Ahmad, says a decision will be made on Cameroon's status as host of the 2019 Nations Cup during September's extraordinary Congress. There have been widespread reports that CAF will hand over the hosting rights for the tournament to Morocco, but Ahmad has refused to be drawn in on that. He has also not provided Cameroon with any assurances that they will retain their rights as host. Michael Otieje has more.
The subject of the Nations Cup host has been a major talking point for President Ahmad Ahmad since he took over as CAF president. Remember, the Confederation of African Football originally awarded the hosting rights to Cameroon. It was supposed to be for 16 teams. It changed it to 24 teams. There have been problems with Cameroon getting ready, and now CAF say they will make a decision on whether they are capable of hosting in September. Cameroon's argument is that CAF has effectively changed the rules of engagement midway through. The Confederation of African Football says it wants the best for the continent, and there are rumors that Morocco, who bid to host the 2026 World Cup, could step in as host. Cameroon will consider this a major stab in the back. CAF says it is only working hard to save the future of African football. It may be a political hot potato, but at least Ahmad is showing that he's got the ability to face issues head on.
All right, so that was it then. But still, with the Confederation of African Football, President Ahmad has said that he has a meeting with Ghana's sports minister, next week in Madagascar. Now, he's coming to see me, and we will discuss this issue and also the Ghana Football Association. What issue is he talking about? This one. Now, the Confederation of African Football President Ahmad says that, African football is actually making strides in its fight against corruption issues, which he has says that has affected the whole world, not just the continent. Ahmad, speaking at the COSAFA Under-17 final in Mauritius on Sunday, said CAF has already seen through many reforms to combat corruption since he took over the leadership 16 months ago. In June, former Ghana Football Association President Kwesi Nyantakyi resigned from the post he held with FIFA and CAF after he was filmed apparently receiving $65,000 in cash from an undercover reporter. Nigeria's Football Federation confirmed it is investigating an allegation of bribery against coach Salisu Yusuf. With Ghana scheduled to host the 2018 Women's African Cup of Nations in November, Ahmad confirmed he is looking at the tournament very, very closely. All right, so let's bring an end to the sports bulletin right here on News 360. My name is Theo Union. See you some other time.
And on the international front this evening, elections have been held in Zimbabwe. That's parliamentary and local elections in the country. It's the first general election since long-serving ruler Robert Mugabe was ousted. The presidential election is expected to be a tight contest between the incumbent Emmerson Mnangagwa and his main rival, Nelson Chamisa. Parliamentary and local elections also took place on Monday. On Sunday, Mr. Mugabe, who first came to power after independence in 1980, Mr. Mugabe, regarded as one of the last big men of African politics, was forced out of office last November by Mr. Mnangagwa with the help of the military. Opinion polls gave Mr. Mnangagwa, who heads the ruling ZANU-PF party, a narrow lead over Mr. Chamisa, the candidate of the opposition MDC alliance. Both leaders are running for the presidency for the first time. So that's an update on the presidential and parliamentary elections in Zimbabwe. And we know that Mr. Mugabe has in fact said that he's not going to be voting for his successor, that's Emmerson Mnangagwa, and he said he's going to be voting for his main rival, Nelson Chamisa, describing Emmerson Mnangagwa as being quite deceptive in this context. So here are some updates on the election in figures. 5,635,706 people have re-registered to a new voters roll in Zimbabwe, and the opposition still has doubts about the accuracy of this new voters roll. 43.5% of registered voters are under the age of 35. That's a high youth population there, and 10,985 polling stations are available. 16 years since the EU and the US observers have been allowed to monitor elections in Zimbabwe, and it's now happening. So you can certainly get an update on developments in Zimbabwe on our website. It's 3news.com. Up next on News 360 is entertainment with Miriam.
Hello there, good evening. My name is Miriam Osei Ajuman. Let's start off for some entertainment news. Let's start with the group P-Square. Peter Okoye of the defunct group P-Square has laid the cause of their breakup to lack of respect from his brother. He maintains he will only patch up with him if he changes his attitudes towards him.
personally, I go deal with you.
After many years of churning out great music, Nigerian R&B duo of identical brothers P-Square went their separate ways for reasons best known to them. Reports about their breakup surfaced after Peter reportedly sent a termination letter to the group's lawyer 2 years ago. The two have since started their solo project. In a recent interview on Kenya Citizen TV, Peter Okoye, now known as Mr. P, indicated that his brother disrespects his family, an action he is not ready to tolerate.
If you ask me, I'll say P-Square can only come back if the respect comes 100%.
Yeah.
I don't disrespect my brother's wife, neither his family, but he does that to me all the time. I just feel, you know what, you can't, next minute you can't insult me and my family in public, on Instagram. Next minute you wait for me backstage for us to perform together. I can't do that. It's disrespectful. What we call family value is important.
Yeah.
All right. I found it very, very disrespectful. The fans want P-Square, but how many times do you want P-Square to come back and break up?
Right.
You understand? We've broken up 3 times. All right. The same issue is still there. So if P-Square is going to come back, we need to settle that issue.
Naturally. Internationally, spending radically.
Nice to see they're coming from P-Square. But away from that, Head of Communications of Xylophone Music, Arnold Asamoah Baidu, has debunked rumors that artist and repertoire manager Bulldog has been sacked. Bulldog was allegedly reported to have been sacked from Xylophone Media following a bust-up between him and the boss of the label, Nana Appiah-Mensah. According to the reports, the CEO confronted Bulldog over the unknown incident, which the manager did not take kindly to, leading to a brawl between the two. However, Mr. Baidu insists since no official communique has been released to that effect, such rumors must be treated as mere speculations. Well, that's about it for Entertainment News tonight. There's more news on 3news.com, and I'll be on 3FM 92.7 tomorrow at 10 with the Urban Blend. I'm Miriam Osei-Agyemang.
Thanks so much, Miriam. P-Square. Oh,
thanks for the
that's
donuts,
sad.
Thanks for the donuts earlier.
Oh, you're welcome. P-Square.
Rather sad. I mean,
Very
such a
sad.
big group from Africa. 3
Absolutely.
times in one separate ways. And now it boils down to respect. Maybe there's more to it.
There definitely
Yeah.
is. It's clear.
Yeah,
I hope they're able to look into their differences.
We love their
as well,
music.
because their fans can't wait for them to come
Absolutely.
back to the P-Square. We're waiting for you. That's it for this edition of News 360. My name is Hisa Moni.
And I'm Natalie Ford. Visit our website. It's 3news.com for some more news. News at 10 will simulcast on our sister station 3FM 92.7. Thanks so much for watching. Have a lovely evening.